processed food or trans fats, and we were doing pretty well. We did very well, and we slept probably more than 8 hours a day, and we're geared to sleep about 8.25 hours a day, and we need to be doing that. And that's one of the biggest problems I see in the world as I travel about, people who are chronically sleep deprived because of all of our wonderful digital gadgets that keep us so connected and entertained.
Where does the notion of, I love what you're talking about with lights and electricity, and I actually read a book a couple years ago called Lights Out that hypothesized that it's the nature of our lit 21st century and 20th century culture that is behind a lot of our degenerative diseases. But this really brings a question to mind: is it really possible to return back to our roots, given that we seem to be immersed in this high technology, processed food, 21st century lifestyle? How practical is it to go wild, to return back to our roots?
Yeah, well, in some areas it's easier than others, obviously, but food is surprisingly easy. And it's gotten easier in the last 10 years or so, that we've got a lot of basic foods that are recovering nicely, and things like grass-fed beef or free-range chickens that are available pretty widely. So we can get to those things. Other things are harder, like sleep, for instance. We live in pretty noisy environments. But one of the surprising things we found out in our research in the book is that noise has always really been part of sleep. And so we don't sleep best in total silence, that we need a certain amount of conversation or of environmental noises around us to sleep. So you can recover some of those things with some artificial steps, like recordings of a fire, for instance, a sound recording that cause you to sleep nicely, or by having a pet around. But the bottom line was that we were really quite surprised as we got into this and how easy it was to recover at least the essentials, the core, the basics of what we're talking about.
Did you say recordings of fire?
Fire sounds. So one of the things, and this is kind of interesting, the anthropology of sleep, people slept around fires all the time. And so we geared our listening and our sense of contentment or peace or well-being to the actual sound of that fire. And if it started to burn out of control, people would wake up and take care of that and so forth. So keeping the fire burning was a big deal, especially with predators around.
Interesting.
It kept lions away, things like that. So, but more likely nature sounds, things like water. Running water is really important to us during sleep, and so the sound of a stream actually soothes it. Even more important, the sound of a snoring dog. If you have a peaceful dog around you, that means everything's safe.
So the sounds like snoring and fire can actually be used as sleep aids.
Yeah, or even conversation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there are a number of devices that do that, that provide white noise or background noise, and oftentimes it is sort of or mimics or gets to the same tones as the snoring dog or the crystalline fire. Yeah.
Now, where does melatonin?
But there's a lot of things we can do. I mean, we mentioned before, you and I off camera, that we had talked about Spark and the book about exercise that preceded this book. It was all about, in our own look at evolution, we were moving 10 to 14 miles a day, foraging, running, climbing, swimming, lifting. We were exerting a lot of energy, and we've evolved to do that. And most recently, the past 50 years or so, we're sitting longer than ever, and it's increasing every year. And we're sitting and we're engaged in our wonderful digital world that, has addicted us. We have to do something about that.
We can't really turn that around. Isn't the toothpaste out of the toothpaste tube? Aren't we evolving into a sort of a techno-human kind of being, a human being 2.0, if you will? You said you call the books Humanity 1.0, but aren't we moving towards human beings 2.0?
Well, we're moving, but we're not evolving. Evolving involves changing our genes, so the genetic structure actually changes in some way to accommodate the way we live today. It hasn't changed. It's the same. It's going to change, significantly once every 30,000 years or so. So if you say, well, we're going to evolve to deal with this system, yeah, okay, wait 30,000 years, it'll be just fine.
I don't think.
But that's so we're not evolving, but we're putting conditions on us that make it very difficult for us to live.
Are you guys familiar with the book Paleo Fantasy by Marlene Zuck?
Oh, yes, I read that, yes.
So what's your take on it? She presents this idea that the whole paleo, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here because I tend to agree with you guys, but she takes the position that we are indeed evolving, and she gives an example of olives, how we didn't eat olives before, and she also gives some examples about how we're adapting, our DNA is adjusting to eating grains, and she presents the idea that indeed we are evolving and that it's kind of a fantasy to go back to this paleo lifestyle, or that we should go back to this paleo lifestyle. How would you respond to that?
Well, the whole issue of our brains evolving, our genes evolving to deal with grains is really not true. We certainly have change our genes every so often, and there are some genes that allow us to have milk after our adolescence, but others in other parts of the world they don't. Our genes do change, but not change as rapidly as one might think. And the whole idea of grains, we know that once we switched away from a more varied diet that included a lot of meat and fat, we began to see a rise in obesity because we replaced healthy fats.
Hang tight, Doc. We got to take a break. I want to continue that thought when we come back because I tend to agree with everything you're saying. And I also want to address when we come back from our break the notion of how exercise plays a part in all of this, given our sedentary lifestyles. Hang tight, Doc. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Don't go away.
Hey, gang, as you can imagine, living with the moniker America's Mr. Right can be kind of tough at times. But you know what? It's easy to live up to the challenge when you're feeling good. Hi, everybody. I'm Jason Lewis, and that's why I watch what I eat and supplement my diet with great products from Youngevity, like their great vitamin mineral complex drink or a protein shake or my favorite probiotic dark chocolate packed with antioxidants. You know, I love these products, and I'll bet you will, too. And now you can get them all at jasonlewisteam.com. Now, look, these are just the things I like from Youngevity, but if you're looking for, a sports drink endorsed by an NBA All-Star or a shot of Pollen Burst, the best energy drink on the market, it's all here, too. All you have to do is go to jasonlewisteam.com or call 1-855-310-TEAM. Now, that's 1-855-310-TEAM. Get all these products and more and feel like America's Mr. Right. It's jasonlewisteam.com.
So we decided to upgrade the look of our home.
You know, improve the curb appeal.
We decided to add the look of stone to the exterior.
We really like the stacked stone look.
Yeah, but when I checked into the price, it was ridiculous. No way could we afford it.
Then a friend told me about Genstone. Genstone.
Genstone comes in lightweight panels made of polyurethane. They've actually engineered the hassle out of installation. No mortar, no mesh. It was easy. Even I could do it.
We just screwed the panels to the wall and it looks like stone. I mean, it really looks like stone.
Yeah, from the box to the wall in minutes.
We love the look of our home now.
And Genstone is durable, comes with a 25-year warranty, and offers additional R-value for insulation.
If you want the look of stone at a price you can afford, call Genstone
at 855-955-STONE. Trust me, you'll save money.
And you'll love the look.
855-955-STONE. That's 855-955-7866.
At 30dayfoodsupply.com, you can now purchase a one-of-a-kind product not available anywhere else. A meatless burger dry mix in 4 delicious flavors. With our new Oregon Trail Foods vegan burgers, all you do is add water and fry. They need no refrigeration. They're packaged in Mylar bags with an oxygen absorber for a long shelf life. They're non-GMO. They're gluten, soy, nut, and chemical-free, but they're loaded with flavor. And a good source of carbs and protein, yet low in sodium. Flavors include Italian, spicy Mexican, Mexican, 6 vegetable, and black bean olive. Go to 30dayfoodsupply.com or call 541-229-0010 and order today. Eat them every day, take them camping, or save them for an emergency. Check them out at 30dayfoodsupply.com and click on the vegan burger icon. That's 30dayfoodsupply.com, where all of our products are produced in Oregon by Oregon Trail Foods. 30dayfoodsupply.com.
If you need to say happy birthday, happy anniversary, thank you, or simply I'm thinking of you, ProFlowers.com is the key. ProFlowers has stunning bouquets, like the best-selling 100 blooms for $19.99. Plus, ProFlowers will include a glass vase for free. Sending someone a wonderful surprise of beautiful flowers sent fresh from the field is easy. Choose the bouquet you like, pick the delivery date, and each order is 100% guaranteed. Plus, all bouquets from ProFlowers are guaranteed to last at least 7 full days. Beautiful, fragrant flowers, picked fresh and sent to your loved one for lasting enjoyment. To get this incredible savings and send someone 100 gorgeous blooms with a free vase for $19.99, go to ProFlowers.com. Click the blue microphone in the top right corner and enter code PLOW. That's ProFlowers.com. Click the mic and enter code PLOW.
Independently leading the way for the nation. Compelling talk for every political persuasion. We are G.
Welcome back to The Bright Side. We're talking to Dr. John Rady and his co-author, Richard Manning, about their book, Go Wild. Doc, before we went to break, you were talking about grains, and I got to thinking about, are you talking about grains in general, or are you talking about processed grains?
Well, processed are worse than the whole grains, but eventually they all turn into big packets of glucose. And I think what we know today and what you're seeing written in science all over is that glucose is really toxic to us. And having that intense amount of glucose that you get without having the fiber and everything that vegetables provide for us is really a problem. And so we're talking about whole grains as well as processed grains. Just the processed grains get you the glucose that much faster. It's like taking 17 teaspoons of sugar. But eventually so does whole grains, give you the same amount for a more protracted period of time. So there's people always point to the whole grain argument, but you're seeing more and more people coming out and saying, look, it's a matter of the amount of glucose you're packing into these grains that's the problem.
Now, your background is psychiatry. You're a clinical professor of psychiatry at Harvard. What is the relationship between grains and not just grains, but our whole 21st century domesticated lifestyle and psychiatric health and mental health issues?
Oh my God! I think it's primary. The reason why we're seeing the incredible incidence rise of depression, anxiety, attention deficit disorder, maybe even autism, although no one knows why. But certainly these disorders are growing rapidly. Depression will be the number one disorder in the world that's debilitating in 2016 in the world, not just in the U.S., but it's that rampant. And a big part of that is our lifestyles that we are immersed in. We're sitting, we're having everything done for us, we're eating the wrong foods, we're not connecting to people, we're not sleeping, we're entertaining ourselves to death, amusing ourselves to death with all of our digital toys. I think there's a huge amount of wisdom in living right to not just correct our body's problems and prevent them, but also our brain.
All right, so you wrote the book Spark, which is a book about exercise, and you talk a lot about exercise in your new book, Go Wild. Are there types of exercise that are counterproductive? Is there ways to exercise that are better than others in order to access some of these evolutionary mechanisms that keep us healthy? These run-free and these notions that keep us strong and vital, as opposed to causing us to break down. Are there better ways to exercise than others?
Well, I think, we deal with that in the book a lot, that probably the exercising outside rather than inside, whatever we're doing, because we evolved that way. And we take in the benefits of nature, which is another chapter in our book that's so important, to be in nature more. And then